There are so many ways we get diseases and fall ill, especially due to millions of creatures that we can't even see. This gets a little scary, so we will just stop here. This world surely is unpredictably dangerous, but you know that it used to be even more dangerous in the past without medication, treatment, and vaccination? Thanks to the scientists that developed vaccination and made the earth a safer place to live, vaccination is surely crucial for the health of a child and hence an adult. But do we know everything about them? Who is the mastermind? Who do we owe gratitudes? Hey guys, you are watching the YouTube channel, and I am. In this video, we are going to talk about the father of modern vaccines, Dr. Maurice Hilleman. Many of us might not even know about him, and others who recognize him may think of him like any other scientist behind their childhood immunizations. But with more than 40 vaccines to his credit, it's no exaggeration to say Hilleman saves millions of lives each year. And that is why it is this scientist about whom we can safely say he saved more lives worldwide than any other scientist in history. There is much more to know about him and his life. So without further ado, let us get into the video. Maurice Ralph Hilleman was born on August 30th, 1919 in Miles City, Montana. Soon after birth, he suffered the first blow of his life that he may have resented over later in his life. His mother and twin sister tragically died. His mother made a dying wish that his sister be buried in her arms and Maurice be raised by his aunt and uncle, Bob and Edith. Growing up with his uncle's 8 children under harsh circumstances on their family farm, he could not enjoy all the luxuries. Even as a young boy, Maurice showed great aptitude for education, especially science. He was very impressed by the writings of Charles Darwin and took great interest in them. He was greatly inspired by an older brother studying at a divinity school. Therefore, he applied for and won a full scholarship to Montana State University. From there, he not only graduated with a joint degree in chemistry and microbiology, but also stood first in his class. Due to his exceptional performance in previous institutes, he was offered scholarships at 10 universities. He finally chose the University of Chicago for graduate studies in microbiology. Following his graduation, he completed his PhD in 1944 with a successful dissertation on Chlamydia trachomatis, a bacterial infection believed to be the result of a viral infection at the time. The same year, he joined the company Bristol Myers Squibb and worked on a vaccine against Japanese bee encephalitis. And from here, his journey began. He worked to discover more vaccines than any scientist. As the chief of respiratory diseases at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, he studied the antigenic drift and shifts seen in viruses that were responsible for the periodic epidemics of viruses like influenza and less common but more severe pandemics. In 1957, when a novel strain of influenza had emerged in Hong Kong, Hilleman was the first person in history to foresee a pandemic and take measures against it. He with his team started working on a vaccine and successfully produced about 40 million vaccine doses. They largely helped to mitigate the impact of the virus. In fact, there were around 70,000 deaths in the US as a result of the pandemic, and public health officials estimated that the number would have reached 1 million had Dr. Hilleman's vaccine not been available. He was awarded the Distinguished Service Medal from the American military due to this contribution. But his life contribution shifted to another gear when he joined Merck & Co. in Pennsylvania in 1957. This is where he settled for the rest of his career. From there on, he developed vaccines for chickenpox, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, pneumococcus, meningococcus, measles, mumps, and rubella. He was also the first person in history to create a combination vaccine for viruses, the MMR vaccine, through which children can be protected against 3 diseases, measles, mumps, and rubella, with a single shot. The story of the mumps virus is different from the discovery of all the others because Maurice isolated this virus from her own daughter, Geraldine, in 1963, when she showed the symptoms. He weakened the virus he obtained from Gerald and successfully made it into a vaccine. The same strain is still used to make the mumps vaccine, and so known as the Geraldine. In addition to that, the hepatitis B vaccine was also a big feather in his nest, as he became the first person to develop a vaccine against a virus that causes liver cancer. Epidemiologists often refer to the first few decades after World War II as the golden age of vaccinology, but it might be more accurate to call it the Hilleman period. According to estimates, his vaccine saved nearly 8 million lives a year. Though he was mainly an academic scientist, he also played a role in fieldwork collecting samples for vaccine development, as well as administrative and scientific leadership. His ways of field testing and sample collection brought great improvements to these areas and enhanced the quality of the vaccines. He had to retire from Merck in 1984 at the age of 65, as dictated by the company rules, but continued to contribute to vaccinology as a consultant mentoring those still working to stop infectious diseases. He served as an advisor to the World Health Organization, WHO, during this time and was awarded the National Medal of Science, the highest science award given in the US by President Ronald Reagan in 1988. It is an irony how many people are unfamiliar with Dr. Hilleman's name, despite the fact that his work has directly impacted or is impacting their lives. Hilleman's reputation as a prickly character often overshadows his accomplishments, even in the scientific community. But now we know he surely was a legend who is the reason that we can sleep peacefully knowing that our children are safe from various infectious diseases. He died in Philadelphia in 2006 at 85 years of age, and by that time, Dr. Hilleman was responsible for 8 vaccines on the United States schedule of recommended childhood vaccinations: measles, mumps, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, chickenpox, Neisseria meningitidis, Streptococcus pneumoniae, and Haemophilus influenza bacteria. This brings us to the end of the video, and so does the life story of Dr. Hilleman. His everlasting contributions to the medical field can never be forgotten, and the best way for you to pay him your regards is to make and ensure timely vaccination for your children, since his main aim was the prevention of disease and thus a disease-free society. Thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get regular updates from our channel. Also, don't hesitate to pen down your comments and give the video a big thumbs up if you liked it.